Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole and it's by user CuriousGenX. Am I the a-hole for refusing to give my dog back to a friend who regrets selling her to me? I, 49 female, have been supporting my friend Lena, 28 female, since she fled Ukraine in 2022. I helped her settle in my country, gave her a place to stay, supported her financially, took her on vacations, paid a trip to Madrid, and was there for her through a lot. Over the past 3 years, I've been like a second family to her, helping her and her relatives navigate life here. Lena had a miniature pinscher named Coco, whom she loved, but over time, she sometimes became frustrated with the dog. Bit more important, she left the dog with me and my partner most of the time without ever asking how she is. She told me that she didn't have enough time for her anymore and a car and a dog were too expensive and she chose the car. Financial struggles were a factor, but self-made as she spends a lot of money on shopping and going out, and eventually she decided to sell Coco to me for €1,000. This wasn't a quick or pressured decision. I asked her multiple times if she was sure and even suggested she'd take more time to think about it. She confirmed she wanted to go through with it and even brought Coco to me herself. I reassured her that she could visit any time and even take Coco for a few days whenever she missed her. Since then, Lena ignored me for 2 weeks, never checking in on Coco and asking how she was doing. Then, out of nowhere, today, she bombarded me with messages saying she needed Coco back because she couldn't live with the pain of giving her away. She also accused me of manipulating her into giving up the dog, saying I took advantage of her vulnerability. I responded calmly, telling her we could talk about it on Saturday as I was busy with an important client and couldn't drop everything, but she kept texting aggressively, demanding an immediate conversation and even asking if Coco was home, which made me uncomfortable as she still has a key to my apartment. I told her she needed to wait until Saturday. She responded by attacking me, saying I had gaslit her and I was treating her like crap and that I let her make the biggest mistake of her life. At this point, I am not willing to meet her in person because I feel she isn't respecting my boundaries and is trying to emotionally pressure me rather than have a rational discussion. I sent her a message saying that when she is ready to talk without accusations, we could have a conversation in writing, but that I wouldn't engage in manipulation. Now I'm about to leave for 2 months to my vacation home in France and I plan to take Coco with me. I don't want to see Lena in person right now because I know she will emotionally manipulate me and make me feel guilty. She made a decision and now she's trying to undo it by blaming me instead of taking responsibility for her own actions. I feel bad because I know she loves Coco, but I also feel like she's only realizing what she had now that the dog is gone. I even told her she could still be a part of Coco's life, but she's acting like I stole her instead of acknowledging that this was her choice. Am I the a-hole for refusing to give Coco back despite Lena regretting her decision? Well, OP, no, I don't think you're the a-hole, and I don't think Lena loves Coco. I mean, she chose between a car and a dog that she supposedly loves when she spends a lot of money going shopping. Doesn't sound like responsible pet ownership to me. To me, it sounds like a scam. Like, I think Lena wants the dog back so she could sell it to somebody else to continue her spree in shopping. Now, you can call me a cynic, but back when my dog was alive, I wouldn't have traded him for the world. So I'm really not buying all that gaslit, and particularly that shift blaming like, you let me make the biggest mistake of my life. How is that OP's responsibility? Grow up and be an adult. So no, OP, I don't think you're the a-hole. I think Coco is yours, and you can take her to France and you should cut contact with Lena. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's check out the community comments. Beginning C4696 says, no, she made her choice and you seem level-headed enough to love the dog and that's what the dog deserves. She was being aggressive while you were trying to talk like an adult. Keep that dog and give it the love it deserves, not the a-hole. And Dopey responds, I will, but it's hard not to let her get into my head and make me feel bad about myself. Crystal Diamonds says, sounds like Lena needs a lesson in responsibility. You can't just give something away and then expect to get it back whenever you feel like it. Stick to your decision and enjoy your 2-month vacation with Coco. And OP responds, thank you for your encouragement. It is heartbreaking what is happening. I love Lena and have welcomed her in my home and my life, and she is like a sister to me. But I cannot have someone who I care for and helped a lot and behave like this and make me responsible for their choices. I have to admit, it feels so bad though. All of this is on the 1st anniversary of my mom's death. What a day it is. Forward Plenty says, not the a-hole. Sounds like a scam. That's what I think. She got €1,000 for the dog and now wants Coco back. Doesn't sound like she is in any different position than when she sold you the dog, so not sure what she is going to get the money. I would probably give the dog back and wash my hands of her. She is acting unbalanced. If I got the money back, all the better. Oh, and change the locks. And OP responds, yeah, we need to get that key back as we live in a house with 8 apartments and our lock is part of a bigger and very expensive security system. If I give the dog back, I treat her like an accessory just like she did. But I love that dog and I have become even more attached since I know she is mine. Also, I have registered her with the tax office, have put her on a health insurance plan and bought lots of stuff for her. It is a terrible situation. The money, she would probably borrow it from her sister who has a well-off partner. And Jay Gasbarro says, not the a-hole, that's your dog now, no takesy-backsies. I think if she was really unsure about fully giving her up, she would have asked for maybe more of a foster type situation while she figured things out. It's not cool she's trying to make you look like the bad guy now. I'd be hesitant to see her in person because of that. And OP responds, I decided not to see her in person before returning from my trip. I cannot talk to someone who is gaslighting me and being aggressive and emotional. I need calm conversation, and I think if she cannot do this even after I come back, it will be the end of our friendship, which is hard as her whole family is in my country and part of my and my partner's life. Alright, the community agrees that OP is not the a-hole, that she shouldn't give Coco back, or if she gives it back, maybe get the money back, but that's not OP's angle. And OP is in love with the dog and just wants to take it on holidays. So now let's move on to the update to see how the story ends. My female 49 former friend, female 29, I guess Lena had a birthday, decided to send her parents to take the dog away, and my boyfriend left a door open for mending what's been broken. I wanted to give you all an update because you encouraged me to stand my ground and keep Coco. A lot has happened since my last post, which is only like 48 hours old. After ignoring me for 2 weeks, Lena suddenly demanded Coco back. I told her we needed to talk first, but instead of facing me, she sent her parents to our apartment today to collect the dog on her behalf. I had left for France this morning together with Coco as planned, so instead they tried to pressure my boyfriend Ian. Lena's father was calm and just asked why we wouldn't return the dog. Her mother, on the other hand, immediately became aggressive, interrupting Ian constantly, switching between Russian and German and accusing me of brainwashing Lena into giving me the dog. Which were exactly Lena's words when she messaged me she needs the dog back. She even claimed that I only helped Lena with her language classes and job applications so I could manipulate her into giving me Coco. This comes after me helping her whole family for 3 years since fleeing Ukraine, financially, with vacations, love, support, and so much time for job hunting, apartments, and all the paperwork that comes with living off the social system. Ian repeatedly told her to stop interrupting, and when she kept doing it, he warned her, I won't let you talk to me like this in my own house. You can interrupt me 3 more times, but after that, I'll ask you to leave. She ignored him, kept interrupting, and after 6 or 7 times, Ian told him to leave. Lena's mother then refused to go and sat down on our couch as if she was making a stand. Ian had to threaten to call the police, and only when her husband pulled her out of the apartment did she finally leave. And Lena, instead of taking responsibility, she sent Ian a message afterward asking why he let me leave and how we could treat her like this because she didn't deserve it. No acknowledgement of the fact that she refused to speak to me directly or that her mother had just caused a scene in our home. Then Ian made a mistake. He thought he was being tactical and left a door open for negotiation. He sent Lena a voice message explaining the situation, but then said something like, "I'm not married to the idea of keeping the dog, and if it were up to me, we could talk about selling her back, but first, you need to meet with me." I was furious. I thought we were on the same page about keeping Coco, and suddenly Ian gave her hope that we might still consider giving her back. I told him it was a really bad move and he got defensive, saying I can't dictate every word he says and that I just have to trust him. But this isn't about controlling his words, it's about sending a clear, unified message instead of mixing signals that keep the drama alive. The good news? All my friends and neighbors support me. They all agreed I should keep Coco. Maya, Lena's sister, reminded me that Lena has always been manipulative and immature, even to her own family. Why should she be any different with me? I have now blocked Lena everywhere. I'm currently in France after a whole day on the highway following that drama unfold from afar. I am mentally and physically exhausted. Final decision, Coco stays with me. Period. I just spoke to Ian, who is calm as Buddha, but starting to get pissed about Lena's tone and entitlement. Thank you all for your support. You helped me stay strong when I needed it most. Heart. I hope I won't let anyone pressure me anymore. I am so tough in the business world and such an effing idiot when I love people. I hope I can calm down now, but I doubt it. And I don't know what additional drama will unfold, as I have finally understood that Lena always gets what she wants in the end by crying, lying, and playing the victim. Opie's comment. Please guys, stop trying to see a problem with my boyfriend where there is none. He did not go behind my back. Lena, her family, and mine, we were all friends. Not only is it normal for Ian to talk to her, but he has a better communication with her normally. He made a mistake in the conversation, yes, but he is not evil or a bad partner or anything but a loving boyfriend. Please stop this. I know it might seem this way by what he said to her, but he was trying to get her to talk to him. Not his best idea for sure. Also, Lena found a business account where I hadn't blocked her yet and wrote that I hate her and took the dog illegally to another location. I replied saying that I don't hate her, that she chose not to respect my boundaries and being hostile, and that I offered a conversation which she didn't want, and that sending her parents only made it worse. Then I blocked her. Actions have consequences and the conversation is over. Feels weird because normally I would always keep such conversations going. Well, OP, I guess this is a good learning opportunity that these conversations should never be kept going. Good for you for standing your ground and acknowledging to Lena that actions do have consequences. This is on her. Coco is yours and hopefully you and her can enjoy France. Take care, OP, and thanks for sharing. Now, let's move on to the next post that also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole, and it's by user LobsterLopsided6038. Am I the a-hole for hanging up on my family when my sister just had her baby? I, 34 female, have two sisters who I'll call Sally, 31 female, and B, 28 female. I am close to both, or thought I was. B got married a few years ago and had been having fertility issues. She and her husband finally conceived through IVF, and I was ecstatic for her when I found out she was pregnant. Now, there have been a few times over the years where I've felt purposely left out of things. I was the only one who never got an invitation to B's graduation. She thought I wouldn't want to go. When our grandfather passed away, they had a big family get-together a few days later. I was the only one not invited. They didn't think I'd want to go. Again, when B had her baby shower, she organized it on a day where she knew I wouldn't be able to attend. Although upset at missing out, I dropped off at my parents' a beautiful hamper full of things I'd been buying for the baby and B, and included a handmade blanket that one of my aunts, recently passed, hand-knitted for my little boy when she found out I was pregnant 6 years ago. Throughout her pregnancy, B has said that the day she had the baby, she only wanted our parents and her husband's parents to visit the hospital, and that then they wanted the first 24 hours at home by themselves with no visitors, as they have a dog and wanted him to get used to the baby first. totally understandable and fine by me. B has had multiple medical complications throughout her pregnancy, which has meant she had to have an early C-section. I spoke to B the day before and told her my day was clear, at work but not a lot on, and that if she needed me, she knew where I was and that I couldn't wait to hear from her. We didn't know the gender or anything, so very excited. On the day, I get a Facebook call around 1 p.m. from B in which she and my dad introduced me to my beautiful nephew. I was delighted. B then handed the phone to my mom as a nurse came in. My mom then informed me that Sally was there. My joy turned into devastation. I asked my mom why I hadn't been invited to the hospital too. She said because I was working that they hadn't thought I'd be able to go. I told her that was an issue for me to deal with and that if I asked, my manager would have let me leave to enjoy the moment with my family. But instead, they were all enjoying that beautiful moment without me again. I hung up in tears from my mom. I removed myself from the family. I spoke to my manager at work who said she would have definitely let me leave for the afternoon and was shocked my family have done that. I messaged my mom afterwards and told her how upset I was, and her response was, "I'm sorry you feel that way." My manager said she's gaslighting me and said my feelings are absolutely valid, but was I overreacting? Am I the a-hole for hanging up on my family? Well, Pete, from what you tell us, no, it doesn't sound like you're the a-hole. You sound like somebody who wants to keep in touch with her family and the family's just pushing you aside. But I can't really understand why. It just doesn't make any sense. But still, you hanging up on your mom? No, doesn't make you an a-hole at all. You were hurt. So I guess the only questions I have are all around why would your family not want you around for any of these big moments? Because your story at face value doesn't imply anything like that. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's check out the community comments. Sweaty Average 4525 says, "Not the a-hole. This isn't about one missed event. It's a consistent pattern of your family excluding you." Isla Glowing said, "So they didn't think you'd want to go again? At this point, they're either oblivious or just don't care about your feelings. Hanging up wasn't an overreaction, it was a natural response to being treated like an afterthought, not the a-hole." And Freddy Noodles says, "When they don't include you in these family events, I assume they also do not include your son, their nephew, grandson? He is 6. Is he at all aware of this? Has it been this way since you were kids, or did it start at B's graduation?" And OP responds, "No, they don't. He's autistic and has other additional needs," and their response is, "We didn't think he'd be able to handle it." Honestly, it really only came to light when it was B's graduation. That's the first time something big happened where I wasn't invited. Honestly, I have no idea if they don't include me because of my son's autism, but yesterday he was at school. If they'd contacted me at the same time as Sally, I could have gone and been back home in time to collect him from school. Alright, well, the community agrees that OP is not the a-hole, and we get somewhat of a hint as to what's going on here. So now let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. First off, I just want to thank everyone for all of your supportive comments and to those who have shared their own stories. I've taken the time to read through everything the last few days. So after Thursday, I didn't hear anything from my family at all until today, Sunday. I was scrolling through Facebook and saw that all of my brother-in-law's family were at the hospital on Thursday too. So the only people not invited were myself, my significant other, and my son. I messaged my mother after I saw this and explained how I was now even more upset and asked, "What have I done?" Her response was that I've done absolutely nothing, not to my sister or anyone. She tried making it out that Sally went to the hospital of her own volition, which I do not believe. She would not have just turned up, she would have asked. My mom said that because I was working, they had assumed I couldn't get time off. I explained how I manage my work is up to me. If they'd ask and I'd decline, that would be another matter entirely. Anyway, I've told my mother I'm going low contact, how this isn't the first time I've been excluded and that I'm deeply hurt by their actions. So that's it for now. I'm going to focus on my little family and my in-laws, who I saw today and were very loving and supportive. My significant other mentioned last night to me about how he thinks that my parents will have a lot more to do with my sister and her baby and think my son won't realize because of his disabilities. I agreed with him and think this will happen also. My heart breaks for my son, but at the same time, I want to protect him from that kind of toxicity. I haven't heard anything from anybody else in my family. Nobody else has contacted me. I only contacted my mom last night because I'd seen all the pictures on Facebook with other relatives at the hospital. Again, thank you to everyone for taking the time to read and comment. It meant a lot. Well, OP, I hope there is another explanation other than your family is just a huge bag of turds. But if it isn't, you'd be very right to protect your son from that toxic bunch. So here's wishing you the best, OP. Take care and thanks for sharing. And now let's finish this video with a quick mood booster post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance and it's by user SoloPilot2497. He asked for a certain type of photo, so I sent him exactly what he asked for. A customer at work earlier this week left his number for me after we had a fun bit of flirty banter while I took his order. I'm not looking for anything at the moment, and he also looked quite a bit younger than I am. I generally get aged at about 10 to 15 years younger than I am. So I messaged him to be polite and tell him that I'm actually this age. He says that doesn't matter. I don't hear from him for 24 hours and I figured, okay, that's done. I finished work last night and see that I have a text from him. He's asking for saucy photos. So of course I woke over to the sports bar and take a photo of the tray of sauces we have sitting there and send that to him. Well, OP, Casanova wanted sauces in a photo and that's exactly what he got. Thanks so much for sharing. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.